Hi gamers. This is a pile of booster wrappers for Magic the Gathering for every expansion, ranging from Arabian Nights in 1993 to Rivals of Ixalan in 2018. So that's 25 years of goodness here that I've saved up. I have personally opened each and every one of these boosters except the Arabian Nights. That one I got years ago for I think like $20 or something like that. But I don't know, these days this might be like, I don't know, like maybe $200 somebody might pay for actually a pretty good conditioned booster wrapper. What I'm actually gonna do with these is I'm gonna frame these. I got the frame all ready to go, and I just decided to do this little video first, and then I'm gonna frame these side by side and row by row. And I think that's gonna look pretty good. If you're interested in how good that's gonna look, please follow FinGamer on Twitter and Instagram as well. But yeah, the purpose of this video is just gonna chill back and take a look at some artwork in the boosters, and especially in the earlier boosters, they have a little bit of a story on the backside, some lore or some really epic marketing copy there, so it changes a bit. But yeah, let's just start going through this in chronological order. So yeah, first up, Arabian Nights, with the gorgeous purple wrapper, and yeah, as you might know, it was almost Magic had a different back on each expansion. So Arabian Nights was supposed to have almost a purple back like this, but then they opted against it because they thought the cards should have identical backs, so people don't know what expansion they're from. But of course, like, everybody uses sleeves these days, and you can easily see on the backside if it's an older card stock or a newer card stock, and the Deckmaster trademark logo, it's long gone. So yeah, they actually really well, I don't know, it would have been interesting if they used a different back, but yeah, the backing is it's been the same, but yeah, almost didn't go that way. But yeah, what I mentioned about the stories here, just gonna read here if you can see. So Arabian Nights is an expansion for Magic the Gathering. More than 75 brand new cards to add to your Magic the Gathering decks. Arabian Nights cards do not stand on their own. You must own Magic the Gathering to play. Everything from flying carpets to the giant Dun-Dun await you. So throw a touch of the dessert into your game and be the first to unleash the fierce Urg Raiders on your unsuspecting foes. Oh, those Urg Raiders. Then we have Antiquities. Yes, this booster is searched. I was very well aware of this when I purchased this. Actually, and this was long ago, so I think even a searched pack would be quite a valuable thing these days. But yeah, just have the wrapper for this express purpose of making the framed one, so I didn't mind it being searched. And yeah, at least I can say I've opened at least one Antiquities pack. Long ago, two wizards battled for control of Dominia. Now Antiquities unearths the relics of this ancient rivalry, over 75 artifacts and spells that shaped the 5 magics and altered Dominia forever. Antiquities does not stand alone. You must have Magic the Gathering to play. So stash a few Antiquities in your deck and unleash the power of the past. Then we have Legends. Like any other world, Dominia has its legends. In this new expansion, you'll meet Johan, Gabriel Angelfire, Svitri Skarsam, Hunding, and many more. As you delve into Dominia's mythic past, you'll discover over 300 new spells, potent artifacts, and creatures with the power to defy death. So enter the world of legends and join the heroes of old in the struggle for Dominia. I think it's interesting, like how they reference old things, like the Brothers' War has happened already, so it's like not happening as this comes out. So it like tells a story. Same here, like join the heroes of old. That's really interesting to me. Then we have the dark. It lurks in the fetid swamps and unearthed the roots of ancient trees. It hides in goblin caves and beneath the Inquisitor's hood, and swims through the empty halls of sunken cities. From the depths of Dominia comes a new addition to Magic the Gathering, with more than 100 new cards for use with your Magic deck. Don't be afraid of the darkness, but of what hides in the dark. Then we get to the good stuff. Fallen Empires. Magic almost didn't survive this, but I'm glad it did. In the southern oceans of Dominia Prime lay a continent of great kingdoms. Far from the war between Urza and Mishra, the lands of Sarpedia prospered. But as the climate changed, resources dwindled and empires crumbled. Hideous new species arose in the forests and seas, forcing the Sarpedians to fight for their very survival. Recruit these toughened warriors and vicious predators for your duels, but beware lest you fare no better than the fallen empires. And then we have Chronicles. No lore here, except it says contains selected cards from the following expansions. And there's a bit of a problem with the printing. The dark has wrapped around to the front here of the booster. Then we have Ice Age. The stories beneath here. It has been many centuries since the war between Urza and Mishra. The battered landscape has become a frozen desert, and the creatures of the world of Dominaria struggle for survival. One society has risen out of the cold chaos, defending itself against both the brutal forces of nature and the attacks of nomadic tribes that have emerged in the surrounding wastelands. And through it all, a twisted necromancer flourishes in the deep winter, intent on using his powers to keep the world dark and cold. You may have the skills to survive, but do you have the spirit to withstand the icy wilderness of Dominaria's Ice Age? You can play Ice Age by itself or as a standard expansion for Magic the Gathering. So this was the first standalone expansion that introduced its own basic lands, etc. So you didn't necessarily need an existing Magic the Gathering deck. And then one more underpowered set before things took a turn for the better, so Homelands. Hidden away by a mysterious wizards for generations, the forgotten world of Homelands awaits discovery. Revealed within are many peoples, cultures, and creatures in a realm of complex allegiances and sinister plots. What secrets will you uncover as you venture into Homelands? Then we have alliances, which basically is in the same kinda block as Ice Age, but they didn't have blocks yet. So as the age of ice recedes, Dominaria wakes from its long, cold sleep. Its people face a world torn by natural and political storms, and they must now join forces if they are to survive the coming years. For Dominaria, it is a season of struggle, an era of hope, but most of all, a time for new alliances. Join the struggle and forge the future. Of course, alliances is most known for having Force of Will as an uncommon. So if you can find a pack, you might just have a Force of Will inside there. Then we get to Mirage. Mirage was like the first modern Magic set in a way that it was first set of the block structure. So there was a big set like Mirage and two small sets that followed it, Visions and Weatherlight. And this was the like structure for Magic for years and years. One big set and two small sets. Eventually they went to one big set and one small set, and at the end of 2018 they went just to single sets. I'd like for them to get back to the block structure. Just give us a bit more time in one setting with one set of keywords and mechanics, and instead of like doing a ton of different products every year. So like give the set some time to breathe. And if you can do it like giving some more time between the releases, at least like spend some more time in the same setting. So Mirage, let's see what we got here. Actually, we have to open this up a bit so we can, I don't want to break it before I frame it. There we go. On Dominaria lies the lush continent of Jamura, a land filled with the peoples and creatures that thrive in the rich tropical climate. The majestic civilizations within boast magical traditions dating back countless centuries. Beneath the burning sun, what power can you draw from the potent forces of Mirage? And here you can play Mirage by itself or as a standard expansion for Magic the Gathering, so the same as with the Ice Age. So yeah, each big set from here on out had its own like basic lands, and so you could create your deck using just Mirage cards, for example. And then to supplement it, we had a small set Visions. Oh, I'm gonna do this again. A bit nerve-wracking, but of course it'll stay flat. So even if I rip something, I think it'll frame just fine. The final battle for Jamura has begun, as the forces of evil mage Karvek swarm the land. A small unit of elite warriors, guided by messages hidden in their dreams and the knowledge that that if they fail, Karvek wins, is on a mission to free their only hope, the wizard Mangara. Heed the visions, and you too can help in the liberation of Jamura. I really like this full like golden foil packaging. It was quite special back in the day. And we have Weatherlight, the last expansion in the Mirage block. Sisei of the Weatherlight has been kidnapped, and the remaining crew of the flying ship must risk everything to recover her. From the port of Imperial Benalia to the mysterious forest of Llanowar to the volcanic heart of Bogardan, adventure awaits them at every turn. Come aboard Weatherlight and book passage for adventure. Like, this is good stuff. Like, this actually makes you like, oh, I gotta get those cards. Excellent. Then, like, of course, between each of these expansions, we had core sets, base sets. We'll come into those after these. I don't have like alpha, beta, unlimited wrappers. So sadly, I don't have every wrapper, but I have some core set wrappers after all of this. But I did include all the portal wrappers here in the midst of these expansion wrappers. So Portal was a starter set of some easier to understand cards. This Magic the Gathering Portal Booster Pack contains 15 tradable game cards that may be added to your starter deck to increase your playing options, plus one strategy tip card. Cards are randomly assorted. Collect all 215 cards. Then we get to Tempest, one of the heavy hitters of yesteryear. The flying ship Weatherlight has left the light of Dominaria for the shadow plane of Wrath in an attempt to rescue Captain Sisay. There is no calm before the storm. There is only Tempest. And then you can play Tempest by itself, blah blah blah. So that was big set, and then we have Tempest, Stronghold, Exodus as the small sets in the Tempest cycle. Gerard and other heroes of the Weatherlight penetrate Warrath's stronghold on the twisted plane of Wrath. Stronghold features fascinating new creatures and a sensational array of cards destined to bring new power to your game. The legacy continues. Stronghold. Stronghold is recommended for the experienced Magic player. I hope you will take that into account. Then we have Exodus. Exodus was noteworthy in the fact that it was the first set that had like colored expansion symbols. So black for common, but silver for uncommon, gold for rare. So this was the first set to have those. And yeah, before that you had to know, you just had to know if a card was rare or common. You couldn't see it by looking at the card. So yeah, this was quite a big change. This also introduced like card numbers on the lower left corner of the card. And looks like we don't have any lore here. Let's see if we get some later on. We have Portal, Second Age, which was the second starter Portal set. Here you can see it's starter level. And yeah, no lore here. Then we had the first of the few joke sets that we've had, Unglued. Now, Unglued actually was, it's the first Unglued especially, it was kind of noteworthy in the fact that it was the first set that had tokens in them. So you had 6 tokens, Goblin, Soldier, Pegasus, Squirrel, Zombie, and Sheep. So 6 tokens, paving the way for the thousands of tokens that we have these days. And also this was the first set that had full art lands. So yeah, some nice innovations in the Unglued, even though yeah, this was like, of course, like the cards were unplayable in your regular decks, so who cares? but yeah, it had something to like going for it. Then we have Urza's Saga, one of the highest powered sets of all time. Some crazy stuff in here. And then Urza's Legacy. Again, no lore here, but yeah, Urza's Legacy was like back in the day after I started Magic in 1994 with the Revised, and played for a couple of years with my friends, but then we stopped playing, and this was the set that I came back to Magic, and everybody at my friends came back at the same time, and yeah, we were really hyped that Magic. Hey, remember that old game Magic? Yeah, it's been going all this time. We gotta let's dig out our decks, and yeah, Urza's Legacy. I have some really fond memories of the set, and of course this was the first set that had foil cards. They were called premium cards back in these days, and yeah, they were really hard to get. One card in 100 was foil, so yeah, it was really a really cool moment whenever you got a foil in a pack. And I remember my first foil very well. It was Snap, blue common, but still it was like the most beautiful card that I had ever seen, so I treasured that card. And then the third set in the Urza's Saga block, Urza's Destiny. Then we also had a third Portal set, Portal 3 Kingdoms, with an Oriental China flavor to it, and this was like wizards trying to break into the Chinese market better, so they made tailor-made a set like this, and it was also I wonder if this was the first set that was translated into Chinese. Well, in any case, the English language, like Portal 3 Kingdoms, I believe it's like less printed of like the Chinese. There is more Chinese cards in it, of it, and so yeah, these were some really expensive cards back in the day. Because many cards only existed in this set before there were any reprints, and yeah, this was had a low print, and yeah, lots of expensive cards in here. Magic the Gathering, a Richard Garfield game. In this strategy game, you play with decks of illustrated cards. These collectible cards represent famous events and ancient heroes. Each player needs a deck to play. So yeah, they actually had like some historical Chinese figures in the cards, and like they say, historical events as well. Next, Mercadian Masks. No lore. I think it's pretty rare from here on out. I wonder if we get any more lore. Nemesis, Prophecy. Prophecy, it's famous for having Rhystic Study as a common. So yeah, I must have opened like 10 Rhystic Studies from boosters back in the day, and yeah, as a one-on-one card, it wasn't that nothing too special. But yeah, you can also get one in 100 was a foil, so every 100th Rhystic Study, even though it was a common, was a foil. So 1 in 100, so that means like the foil of even though it's lowly common, a foil Rhystic Study, it's still like hundreds of dollars. Invasion. Another big set, followed by Plane Shift, and Apocalypse. Then we have Odyssey. And Torment. Torment is noteworthy because it had more black cards than other cards of the color pie. And actually blacks, enemy colors, white and green, had even less cards than blue and red. So some really interesting set design, because in Judgment they went back, and Judgment has, I believe, don't quote me on these exact numbers, but it has more of the green and white cards, so it balances out. Then we have Onslaught, which of course had fetch lands in them. So some pretty important cards of Magic's history. And actually we do have some lore here. That's nice. Welcome to a world where whole armies transform in the heat of battle. Morph creatures fight face down and erupt into new forms on command, while tribal cards manipulate entire creature types. Then we have Legions. Legions is the first Magic the Gathering set that's 100% creatures, and that equals total mayhem. Not sure if there were any non-basic lands, but every non-land card was a creature, but not sure if there were lands. Well, not sure, but yeah, a lot of creatures in Legions. Then we have Scourge, which has, how do I show this? Has a nice serrated edge here on the booster. That's I think it's unique among these. Size matters. Scourge is all about building up to a big payoff. Storm cards repeat their effects for each spell played in a turn, while dragon-themed cards prove that bigger is better. That is true. Then we have Mirrodin. Oh, it's so shiny. I can't even. Enter this harsh metal Mirrodin world and use a new kind of artifact card, Equipment, to add a sharper edge to your game. So yeah, first equipments were in Mirrodin. And then the rest of the block, Darksteel. Explore the new Darksteel set, where artifacts forged from the mysterious Darksteel metal are indestructible, and modular creatures make your opponent pay dearly if they're destroyed. And finally, Fifth Dawn. Last small set on the block. And looks like, yeah, they had a small run of the lore here. Let's see if we get back there. So, Champions of Kamigawa. No lore. And then we get a second unhinged set. Oh, so second unset. That's called Unhinged. And it's like this a unique wrapper. This mat looks like paper. And then we get to more of the Kamigawa block. Betrayers of Kamigawa. And Saviors of Kamigawa. And we got a classic set, Ravnica, City of Guilds. And in the Ravnica block, we also had Guild Pact and Dissension. And of course, Ravnica, I think like the most impactful cards are the Shocklands that we got here. Now, let's see, what year did Cold Snap come out? I should have checked this sooner. So 2006. So this was 12 years or 11 years after Ice Age. And this is the final set in the Ice Age block. So they finally went back Ice Age alliances back in the day, and then wait 11, 12 years and make the third set to make the block complete. So Cold Snap, that was a nice callback to some old cards. There's some good stuff here, so like nods to old cards, and this was the second time we saw the snow-covered basics that debuted on Ice Age, and yeah, this was a fun little set. But then we get to one of my favorites in like set design, the Time Spiral block. First up, Time Spiral was like all about nostalgia. Like all of the cards in here like referenced an old card or an old mechanic, or like evoked something in you that, hey, I know that's familiar. They had some fresh spins on new cards, and fresh spins on old cards, I mean, and yeah, just all around nostalgia blast. And they also had the time shifted card in each booster, which was like a straight up reprint of an older card in the older card retro card frame, which had changed. Oh, sorry, actually it was in Mirrodin, during Mirrodin they changed it. And yeah, it's all about nostalgia. Whereas Planar Chaos was like featured cards that were color shifted to a different color. For example, Damnation is a black Wrath of God. It's functionally the same, just a black card with a black mana cost. And yeah, this set featured all kinds of those cards. So the functionally identical card just for a different color. And finally, the third set in the block was Future Sight. And Future Sight included the futuristic frame, and it showed like what Magic cards will look like in the future. Ooh. So yeah, I had all kinds of weird and zany mechanics, and also referenced cards in the future. Actually, like Tarmogoyf was printed in this set first, and Tarmogoyf had the first notion of planeswalkers. You know, Tarmogoyf is as big as the card types in your graveyard, and it mentioned in like brackets that planeswalker was one of the card types. And when people saw that, they went crazy. Like, what is a planeswalker? That's crazy. It's from the future. Cards from the future. So that was really cool stuff that they did with Future Sight. And you didn't have to wait for too long for those planeswalkers, because it was the very next set that we got those in Lorwyn. And this block was a bit different because it had well, two sets or four sets, however you wanna count. So Lorwyn and Morningtide formed one like mini block, and then Shadowmoor and Eventide formed. Sorry, there we go. With the focus, Shadowmoor and Eventide formed a second like mini block, or you can just like think that they are a bigger block of four. Then we have Shards of Alara, Conflux, and Alara Reborn. Zendikar. Now, Zendikar was a pretty wild set because Wizard didn't tell anybody first, but people, when they opened these packs, very rarely you could get an old card in the pack that Wizards had like manually put in between the cards. Like you could open old dual lands, you could actually open a Black Lotus or any of the Power 9. So yeah, priceless treasures they were called. And yeah, of course, people just ate Zendikar up trying to get these priceless treasures. It also didn't hurt that Zendikar was like debuted the enemy color fetch lands. So lots of good stuff in Zendikar. And we have World Wake and Rise of the Eldrazi as the final set in the block. Then we get back to Mirrodin with Scars of Mirrodin, Mirrodin Besieged, and the third set, New Phyrexia. Another block is Innistrad. Innistrad, the first time we go here. Dark Ascension. And Avacyn Restored. And then I think this is like the first time that we officially go back to a setting, a plane, Return to Ravnica. And the smaller sets, Gatecrash and Dragon's Maze. Then we get to Theros, Born of the Gods, and Journey into Nyx. Khans of Tarkir, Fate Reforged, and the final set, Dragons of Tarkir. This was the last set block that had the 3 set structure, and after this they experimented a while with a 2 set structure. So here we have Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch. Actually put these aside here to talk more about them. But the next block was Shadows over Innistrad and Eldritch Moon. Kaladesh and Aether Revolt. Hour of Devastation and Amonkhet. And the last sets in the block structure that Magic was on for like 20 years, over 20 years. Ixalan, actually, Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan. Yeah, this the other way around. So Amonkhet was the first set in the block, and Kaladesh was the first set in the block here. And why I pulled these away was that these sets included masterpieces. So like these really rare and gorgeous chase cards, reprints of older, really powerful and desirable cards. Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch had like lands, strip mine, wasteland, fetches, stuff like that in a really cool treatment, really unique borders. and Kaladesh and Aether Revolt had artifacts, and the Kaladesh inventions. They're probably the most beautiful magic cards there are. Like, I love the frame and the foiling on those. And finally on Amonkhet and Hour of Devastation had Amonkhet Invocations, which in contrast to the Kaladesh inventions, the Amonkhet Invocations are maybe the most like ugly magic cards they ever made. Like, yeah, you can't read the text, and the frame is all over the place, and yeah, I just hate those. But I do like the fact that they actually had like some actually rare cards to chase. Like foils had lost all of their value like years and years ago when they printed them to the ground, and even more so these days. So, but yeah, these were the like the original chase cards, and that of course these days we get all kinds of treatments and numbered cards, and yeah, so they've gone into that fully, but this was like the beginning. But people kind of were negative about this, like they made there was one block here that didn't have the treasures inside, but like people were getting worried that is every set is gonna have like these super expensive, super rare things, and if every set has something like this, then it's not that special anymore. And yeah, I kind of like agree with that. Yeah, like that if everything is special, nothing is. But I think this was a very well thought out set of cards, set of well curated list, and they were actually really rare to get one of those, and they still hold some nice value to this day. They were planning on doing some priceless chase treasure cards in Ixalan as well, but because there was some backlash on like, are they gonna do that for every set? Wizards decided that okay, we're not gonna do that for Ixalan. They already had the special frame treatment ready, and they made the Ixalan like the flip lands with that frame, which look really cool. But yeah, they didn't make the chase cards here with Ixalan, and then it was a while before they introduced like the collectors boosters, and yeah, everything rest is history. Nowadays Wizard is doing quite a few things. So if we had like one chase treatment in a booster, that was quite modest by the today's standards. So I think people were actually quite happy with these. And yeah, these days, like now we're at the point where everything is special, so nothing is special. But yeah, that was all of the expansion booster wrappers that I have. So 1993 to 2018. I do have some here for the basic sets, so let's continue here with these. So first up, Revised, the set that I started Magic with, so I have some really fond memories of this. Magic the Gathering is a collectible fantasy trading card game from Wizards of the Coast, featuring over 300 different cards. Some are fairly common, some are uncommon, and some are rare. Every player has their own individual deck. Challenge your friends, but remember, your opponent isn't defeated until the last life point has been taken. Then we have the 4th edition. No, do we have lore here? It's a bit different than the revised, so I'll read this as well. Magic the Gathering is the first in the Deckmaster series of trading card games from Wizards of the Coast, featuring more than 300 different cards. Magic draws its players into a multiverse of infinite possibilities. Some cards are fairly common, some uncommon, and some rare. Each player must have a deck! Exclamation point. There's always more for you to discover in Magic, and the more you play and trade, the more dominous, ever-changing adventures will intrigue you. In Magic the Gathering, you will never play the same game twice. We have 5th edition. And the 6th edition was called a Classic 6th edition. Now this isn't like a basic set, a core set per se, but I'll just include it here. This is starter, booster. It's not a core set. It's not Portal. It's starter. They made a couple of these products back in the day. Then we have a 7th edition, and this was the first core set that included foils. And before this, and even in 7th edition, the core sets were, you could tell a set was a core set with the white borders. And it was like that ever since Unlimited. But the foils in 7th edition were black bordered. So it was a white bordered set, but if you had a foil, it was a black bordered foil. And 7th edition, in addition to having the 1 out of 100 odds for getting foils, they didn't really print 7th edition all that much. It wasn't that popular. Magic wasn't as popular during that time. So as a result, 7th edition has like the most valuable foils. Almost like in Magic's history, like every common, if you get a foil common near mint, any common in 7th edition, it's still worth like $5 or something like that. Almost, but yeah, I do miss the days that getting foils was an event. Then we have the 8th edition, but it just says core set here. The best trading card game players are Magic the Gathering players, and the best start with the 8th edition core set. That is true. Then we have 9th edition, again just says core set, so, and 10th edition. And then we get to, instead of like numbered sets, we get years. So 2010 core set, 2011 core set, 2012 core set, 2013 core set, 2014 core set, 2015 core set, and my final wrapper here, Magic Origins. Yeah, after this, wait, was it, this was made, now I gotta check. This was made in 2015, so yeah, they stopped making like the yearly Magic core sets, and this was the last core set for several years. I think they came back in like 4 years later. I think 2019 core set. Well, it like this was the last core set for a while. Yeah, they've been taking some time off with the core sets, and again they were taking some time off, but I think there's like a kinda a corset coming later this year, so now they're coming back again. But for a while, Magic Origins was thought to be the last corset that they're ever gonna make, but they came back around in that decision as well. So that was, I hope you enjoyed this video of me rambling about empty plastic wrappers. And now I'm gonna get to framing these bad boys. And again, if you wanna see how that looks, please follow FinGamer on Twitter and or Instagram. Let me know like what kind of memories did this video evoke in you. What was the set that you started playing, or you stopped playing and restarted playing? And yeah, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Bye.